This third video in this series focuses on the bookkeeping and accounting part of your event. Some of this accounting can be done during or before your event, and the final reconciliation will be done after your event. The forms in this video are available on the CAC website and should be used to compile the billing and accounting for your event. We suggest you do them electronically since the totals will be automatically calculated, and this reduces the chance of errors. This video covers the following topics: the bookkeeping you will do for your hosted event, and this includes creating a charge sheet for each group, making meal head counts, inputting your food cost into the summary sheet, and a final reconciliation of funds and sending documents and proceeds to the Ecolage treasurer. Then, less complicated are the forms and bookkeeping for a private event and a spontaneous event. Before your event, you should have completed this reservation form. It summarizes each person or group stay and their deposit. This helps create the charge sheets and a head count for each meal. You should also have done the room assignments. Your next step is to complete the charge sheets for each group. This is a tally of what each group or each person owes for their stay. You should complete this charge sheet prior to your event and collect full payment by the final evening. This form calculates the charges for each person and creates the summary sheet, which you will return to the Ecolage treasurer after your event. This charge sheet allows for associate membership fees, room and board charges, as well as applicable taxes. The yellow fields are where you will enter data. Do not enter data into the other cells. This may affect the calculations that are embedded into those cells. So let's review how this worksheet functions. First, enter the guest's name, their room numbers, and the number of occupants in the upper part of the charge sheet. The total occupants are automatically calculated from there. Next, enter the number of occupants for each night in the correct row depending on the room type, dorm room, or private room. The rate for the dorm room is $10 per night per occupant and $15 for private rooms per occupant. The total lodge charges will be automatically calculated. And note that an El Dorado hotel tax will be added to the lodging costs. Next, enter the number of people for each meal within the group. The rates are $8 for breakfast, $7 for lunch, and $15 for dinner. And no credit will be given for skipped meals. And the food totals then are automatically calculated. And note this is not taxed. The next highlighted area is where you should include the associate membership fee if the guest is not a member. This is $10 per night for each guest. In the final line of entries, enter the deposit amount, which will get subtracted from the total. And in the last box, enter any extra purchases that the guest purchased at the host request. This would include any last-minute grocery or pantry items. This will also be subtracted from their total. The balance due is the amount that the guest will pay on the final evening of the event. Most people use Venmo to pay the balance, but checks are also accepted. In your introductory email, it's good to mention that guests will be expected to pay the balance for their stay during the event. The section you just completed is one group's charges, and you will need to complete one of these for each group or person. Within this spreadsheet, there are 25 copies of this charge sheet, and each one is numbered. They're all done in one file so that the summary sheet can be created automatically, which we'll cover in a moment. Note, the deposit and final payments should be made to the host and not to the lodge, since the host will then pay the lodge after reconciling their food costs. As a host, you should submit the spreadsheet to the Ecolage treasurer after your event. And remember, as host, you will not fill out a charge sheet for yourself. Your stay is complimentary for all the work that you do to make the weekend a success. After your event, you will need to reconcile the accounting. The host summary sheet does most of this for you. Each guest charges will automatically populate the summary sheet, but you'll have to add in any forfeited deposit and your food costs. Input the expenses, and those include food, pantry, and housekeeping items that you purchased. For each purchase, you will need to enter the vendor, Safeway, Costco, Trader Joe's, or wherever you purchased the items, then break down how much was spent on food, non-food items such as batteries or mouse traps, pantry staples that include coffee, sugar, or anything that are part of the pantry and not your individual weekend, and then housekeeping items such as sponges and detergent. And remember, beer, wine, and liquor should never be part of your food budget. All guests should bring their own. And the final amount due to lodge will be calculated by the spreadsheet. This is the amount you should Venmo to the treasurer after your event. This summary spreadsheet will also show how efficient you are at meal planning, and that'll be shown by how much you spent on food as a percent of the total food revenue. You should keep this between 50 and 70%. The final responsibility is to send the spreadsheet, which includes both the charge sheets and the summary sheet, along with your receipt, to the treasurer. Next, we'll cover the forms that you'll need to complete for private and spontaneous events. To optimize occupancy during non-prime time, the lodge is available as a private rental for trained hosts who can rent the entire lodge for their guests. During this time, the lodge will not be available to other CAC members, and these events are only allowed during non-prime times. Prime time is considered June 15th through September 15th, holidays and winter weekends. Reservations may be secured no more than 6 months in advance and require a 50% deposit as well as a $100 security deposit. Here's the form you will turn in along with the remainder of the payment. The lodge charges for private events is $25 per night per person for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, with a minimum of $300 per night for the entire lodge, and $20 per person per night Monday through Thursday, with a minimum of $240 a night for the entire lodge. Keep in mind, associate membership dues of $10 per night apply to guests during a private event, and this is the form you should fill out for every non-member guest. The El Dorado hotel taxes will be added to these prices. The lodge is also available to train hosts for spontaneous events. These are last-minute stays which may be booked no more than 10 days in advance. To book a spontaneous stay, contact the Echo Lodge scheduling coordinator to see if the lodge is available. And remember, you may or may not have a lodge to yourself, since others may also book a spontaneous stay. The same rates apply as for private events, but with a minimum per night of $50, and associate dues also apply. And here's the form that you would turn in after your stay along with the payment. For this type of event, an El Dorado motel tax is also included. We know these forms and accounting procedures are probably not the most fun of your event, but they're necessary to keep the lodge going and ensure the lodge has the funds for maintenance and improvements. And once you get the hang of it, they're relatively simple and can be completed pretty easily, and then you can continue having fun.